welcome. Thank you for being here. My name's Anna, and today I thought I would just rank my Natasha Denona palettes, just all of them, except for one because I've never used it, which is a little bit embarrassing because I know I've had it for months. And I'll show you which one that is, but anyways, I'm not gonna put it in the ranking because I've never used it. Anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna get started. This is gonna be all of the palettes that I own, regardless of size, because some of my ranking has to do with the price, and I thought that that was just an interesting way to do it. Haven't done a Natasha Denona ranking in a while, so let's get started. In last place is the 28 palette, the purple blue. This one. There are reasons why. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to look at. I don't know if I got like an old palette or what, but I don't think the formula on this is as good as a lot of my Natasha Denona palettes. And for the price, and I got this on sale. I got this for the Black Friday sale last year. So it was $160 or something for me, $165 maybe. Yeah, it's not worth the price. Yeah, just too much for what it is. So that's why that one comes in last. You know, just my opinion. All right. In second place, for similar reasons, or in second to last place, is the Natasha Denona Triochrome palette. Packaging A+, love it, so pretty, that like duochrome, oh, gorgeous. However, the inside, it's a unique color story. I'm interested in it, but I don't find that this formula works as well for me as some of her others. I don't know. I just don't think that there's like the pigmentation going on for these pastels. And I think that they're too close together. The colors are too close together. And these are very, very lackluster, especially after using so many indie shadows. I'll just quickly swatch these all for you because I want to show you what I mean. That they're just not that exciting. I mean, they're okay. They're fine. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. I'm just not excited about them. I don't think that they're good in the grand scheme of things, especially for $128. So that's why that one doesn't come in very high. Okay, next up, I actually have 3 little tiny mini palettes. The reason they're coming in solo is just because they are so small, and you know, it's more fun for me to have more colors to choose from in general. And these are, and I'm just gonna put them all together. I don't know that there's so much in order. I guess maybe there is a little bit. We'll say this one, the Lila palette, mini palette. It's fine. I've heard people say that the formula on this doesn't work as well for them. I haven't really noticed that I've had too much trouble with it. It's kind of pretty. It's just, I don't use it ever. It's just kind of small and whatever. I don't know. It's not that exciting to me. The Crush, Mini Crush palette it's pretty, it's fine. I don't feel super inspired by this color story. I'm never going to take this traveling with me because it's too like one note for, it's like a one look palette to me. I don't know, just not that, whatever. Formula seems fine. And then this is the Mini Glam, I think. No, sorry, Mini Retro. Yes, Mini Retro. And it does kind of remind me of the Midi Retro Glam palette, and so I would probably just tend to use that one instead of this. This is like a little bit washed out. There's not a lot of depth in this palette, so I don't think it's very versatile, but you know, it's a fine palette. It's pretty. I feel like these colors, you know, and it's small, so it's a little bit more affordable. So that's where that falls, where it does. Next up is the Midi palette, the Love palette. And it's a pretty color story. It's very pinky purple, which has its place, but it's not my favorite color story. And I think that's part of why this is falling where it is. It's also a bit of an older palette. I'm not as excited about it. I also do think that the formula is not like amazing. And I know that there was kind of a bad batch of these. I don't know if I have that. It's fine. I actually don't think it was that bad. So I don't know. There's some pretty shades in there, but it's not anything that's super exciting to me. Next up is the Zendo palette. And ooh, hello. Oh, those flowers look so pretty right there in the mirror of it. Wow, I'm such a magpie. Okay. I think this is very pretty to look at. I wanted to be more excited about this than it was. I actually saw a creator that I really like talking about how it's just really hard to get a look that isn't muddied because you have like the warm side and the cool side and they just kind of don't go together. And I have to say I agree. I don't think that they were wrong about that. So yeah, I just think it's not the easiest to put together a look, and I think that there's a palette coming up that is a similar vibe, but is easier to come up with a look. So, all right, now this next one might surprise y'all, but this is the 28 palette, the Green Brown. Again, I don't think that this is worth the money. I mean, if you get it on sale, sure, maybe, but still, even on sale, this was I think it was $155. I think I paid $310 for the two big palettes, and it's pretty, but I feel like there's just too much of the same in here. There's not as much depth as I'd like. This formula is much, much better than my purple blue palette. So like I said, I might have gotten a dud in that way. It might have been old or something, which is kind of crappy, but yeah, for the price, I don't think this is so worth it. And that's why it's ranking where it is. It's a pretty palette, but it's not worth it. It's just not worth the price. All right. Next up, I have 3 more little mini palettes. I'm not sure why these kind of fell in little groups, but they did. So this next one is the Mini Biba palette. Okay, so it's pretty. This is definitely one that I would take on a vacation because it's small and I feel like it's a very classic look that you can do. And it's pretty, but it's just not that exciting. It's not, I don't know, it doesn't really inspire me in any major way. So I don't know, that's why that's falling where it does. And then next up, and now we're getting into the mini palettes that I really like. This is a gold palette, and this is actually brand new. I repurchased it because I gave my mom my other one. Yeah, it's a beautiful palette, and I love the way it looks on me. It looks not so good with my look right now, but this is a beautiful, beautiful palette, and I really enjoy it. Very solid. Ooh, let's not break it. All right, next up is, the Natasha Denona Mini Love palette. I just think this gives you the prettiest pink purple look. I like this one better than the big one. I just like this, and I think it's all because of this shade. This is a great shade. It's like kind of a brownish purple, or it's like a very warm purple or something. I don't know, just a perfect transition shade for me. I really like this one. I just really like it. If I want like a purpley pink look, and I just want to do it real quick, this is so good. So good. Yes. Like. And next up, this is the Retro palette. And this is, okay, so I guess like from here on out, I just really like all of these because I'm like, oh wait, are these in the wrong? No, They're not. I'm just getting tripped up. It's fine. This is a really pretty palette. I like the tones in this a lot. It's actually pretty neutral. Like, looking at it right now, I feel like it's not too warm, but also not too cool. It sort of has a very neutral vibe. I think it's very flattering. I like this actually so much better than like the Love palette for whatever reason. I think the formula on this is really good. Yeah, I just think this is a very, maybe universally flattering. I don't know, but maybe I just like it on my skin tone. Anyways, it's just so pretty. Look at that. I just really like it. And so there we are. Next up, so I put the Glam Face palettes in this video because I love the packaging. I mean, oh gosh, they're just so beautiful. And I love to travel with these, particularly the one that I like a little better. And the only reason I think that is it does match my skin tone a little better. This is the deeper one, which I think runs a little bit warmer than the other. And I can wear this palette. I can absolutely wear this palette. But I think it probably does look a little better on a little deeper skin tone. But yeah, I love this. I really do. I think it's so pretty. It's so pretty. And you get the face, the blush and the highlighter as well in there. So that's cool. All right, next up is the Natasha Denona Glam palette. And this one is, here's the front. And this is a very cool leaning palette, which I would say I tend to like warmer palettes better. So I don't know. It's like, this is probably my favorite, like, cooler palette. Yeah, I think looking at these, that is true. And it's just a very solid, it's very solid formula wise. I might wish that this had a little bit of a more deeper shade, but no, you know, I think it's probably fine. And you even have some like warmer tones here. Just a very, very solid, neutrally cool palette. Yeah, and I love the midi size. And I think most of the rest of them are midi palettes except for 2. Anyway, we still have a ways to go, folks. Natasha Denona comes out with a lot of palettes. Whew, okay. Next up is the Natasha Denona Pastel palette. And it's got cute packaging. And I just think this is so much fun. And I really love color, so I'm not surprised that this ranks so high. It's just, unlike the Triochrome palette that I mentioned earlier, I think this one, the pastels show up a little bit better. I don't know. Maybe I need to try the Triochrome again. I haven't used it in so long because I'm not a huge fan. Yeah, but I did actually, after my last ranking, which I think Triochrome was on the very bottom in that ranking, a subscriber was like, oh, that's my favorite, and, you know, kind of explained why, and I was like, oh, I'm going to try it again, and I did, and it just didn't spark that joy. I was like, it just kind of fell flat for me. Anyways, we're talking about the pastel palette now, and I really think this is a great pastel palette. I think that it's beautiful. Those shimmers are so pretty. And I like color a lot. So this was definitely a win for me. Really like this one. But you definitely have to like color to enjoy this one. Next up, another midi palette. And this, I believe, was the first midi palette. This might have been my first Natasha Denona palette that I got. I think it was. This is the Sunrise palette. And she looks like this. Again, very warm, which tends to be something that I love. And I've discovered in the past maybe year or two that I love yellows in my eyeshadow. Never have been a huge yellow fan. Never thought it looked good on me. I have a warm sort of yellow undertone and discovered that yellow eyeshadow is actually very flattering for me. So yeah, this one has definitely a special place in my heart because it was the first Natasha Denona palette that I got. So that's probably a little bit why it's ranking up here, you know, good memories. But it's also very beautiful and I think aptly named, you know, Sunrise. It's got the like bright yellows and orange and those pinks and some purple. I just think this is a very pretty palette. I remember loving these two in particular here. I'm gonna swatch this shade and this shade because they're a bit duochrome like. And this was before I got into indie shadows, so they're not as like exciting now. But oh man, I thought those were so pretty back in the day. And I have to say they're a little lackluster now looking at them. They are very pretty on the eye though, particularly this one. That was like my favorite shade for a very long time. There's a big dip in that pan. Okay, next up is the Natasha Denona Retro Glam Palette. And I fully admit, I think part of the reason this is ranking so high is because it is the newest palette that she came out with. But along with that, it's a very pretty color story. And like I said with this guy here, I like the color story for this, but if I'm going to go for this vibe, I'm gonna go for this one because I have more colors to choose from and more mattes, and I just, oh, and also compared to the Zendo palette, here, let me grab it. So this was the one that I was saying is similar to one coming up, and it was sort of this. It's got this like, I don't know, sort of a similar vibe to me, but this one just speaks to me more than this one. And I think this one is just easier to combine a look with for whatever reason. And I think it's just a beautiful curation. It's very interesting. I like, you know, the retro glam vibe that it gives, I think is like spot on. I think that this is just such a good curation of colors. Yeah, and formulas, and oh my goodness, like some of these greens. I'm a big green fan, so that's probably partially why this is ranking so high, and also that it's newer. But the formula on this is wonderful. Yeah, I just, I'm looking forward to playing with this more. All right. Next up, and this actually got bumped from #1 in my last ranking, but still one of my very favorites. This is in 4th place now. This is the Natasha Denona Circo Loco palette. I really don't like this cover, like at all. I just for what it's worth, this does not speak to me at all. However, this, and actually the layout of this is terrible in my opinion. However, the formulas on these pigmented eyeshadows is just chef's kiss. They're so good. It's just such a good formula for these bright, colorful colors, which I love. I love bright and colorful. It's just fun to play with. I think the reason why this isn't #1 is because if I just want to do my makeup and not be so colorful, you know, it's like I might just want to kind of look glamorous. And I don't know that, like, you know, colorful rainbow is going to be what I'm going for that. So it's maybe just not as useful, especially for everybody. But I am still a huge fan of this. I think this is actually one of my favorite palettes formula-wise. Like, it's so good. It's just so good. These shadows work so well. They're so beautiful. All right, moving on. All right, so this next one, I love this so much. This just gives me all of the, I'm looking in the mirror of it because I like the way it looks, with those flowers. Yeah, okay. Wow, so distracted. The packaging on this, again, is just so luxe. I mean, it gets fingerprinted, but It's so beautiful. I actually had this out on my like desk forever because it's so pretty. Anyways, blah, blah, blah. Oh my goodness. It's just so pretty. It's so flattering. I think this has a warm yellow undertone, I swear, because it looks so good. Like I put this on and I just feel so pretty. I've traveled with this a few times. Because I get a blush, I have a highlighter. This eye look is so pretty. One thing I wish one of these shades was a little deeper. That's what I wish. Because it's just not quite, I want a little bit more depth. But maybe not using the depth is why it always looks so pretty. Because it's a little easier to use because of that. I don't know. Anyways, I love these face palettes. I think they're so good. I just think they're so beautiful. The shimmers in these, I'm going to swatch these because these two shades right here are just, they're sort of next level. They're like the best. They're like Natasha Denona's best shimmery formula. They're just so beautiful and ethereal. Wow, my hand has a lot of sparkle on it already, but oh, there we go. There we go. Yes. Moving on. And this is probably some of you have guessed this already if you have this palette, but this is what I'm wearing on my eyes. And this is the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. I don't think you can get this anymore. I didn't actually check. I'm going to fully admit I did not check whether these are still available. But sometimes they'll come back for a little while and then go away again. So still worth it. Hi, Squirr. Anyways, this is the Metropolis palette. She's a hot mess. You can tell that I have used this one a bit. I feel like it's so versatile. There are just so many ways you can go with this, and the formulas are amazing. I just think it's so beautiful. And like I said, it's so good for the holidays. And for the price of the midi palettes, you got 28 shades. I want this format every time. I want 28 shades in the 65, I guess there's 68 now. But yeah, for the midi price, you get 60. So good. So good in every way. Formula, color story, what you're getting for the price, value. Mwah, so good. Very good. Love it. Very good. Okay. And my favorite, and this actually kind of surprised me, actually. Yeah, in the number one spot is the Natasha Denona My Dream palette. Again, this is not my favorite cover. I mean, whatever. That is not that important to me. But this color story is so exciting. I just think it's so flattering. I just think this just makes me look glamorous. I don't think you can really do subtle with this. Maybe I just need to try to use like these lighter shades or something. But yeah, this has like cool and warm, but like in a way that's very cohesive. The formulas in this, mwah, so beautiful. This is exciting. And you know, I am a girl who loves the 80s. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. This is it. Like this is her. So she's just so pretty. It has black if you need it. Yeah. Number one, My Dream palette. This is a newer palette to my collection too, because it's a newer palette. So, you know, we'll see how that goes as time goes by. And okay, so real quick, I had bought, and we're gonna need these for this again. This is the mini nude palette. I had bought this because I needed free shipping or wanted free shipping. And so I added this to something recently this year. and I never used it. So I don't know where this falls, but it seems to me that it would be really good for travel because it's like a one and done look. Here it is compared to the Mini Biba. That was the only one that I thought this was kind of similar to. Anyway, this just seemed like it would be a very good like staple. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see where that goes. For now, it is my dream palette all the way. Let's look at it one more time. Let's just gaze upon the glory and beauty. It's so pretty. Okay. Also, again, these midi size palettes, I do like, again, Metropolis, like 28 shades, yes. But 15 of the smaller pans, definitely preferred to those bigger ones. I'm glad those haven't come out in a while. I don't need any more of those. Give us midi palettes. All right, well, I'm gonna go have some lunch. I hope that you're all having a good day, a good week. I really appreciate all of your sweet comments. And for those of you who are subscribed, thank you so much. If you did like this video, hit that thumbs up button, algorithm. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.